It's crunch time, baby. You know exactly what time it is. Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. And in today's video, we are doing a 3-round 2024 NFL mock draft. I haven't done one of these in quite some time. I want to say it's been about 3 weeks or a month since the last time I dropped a 3-round mock draft. And I'm super excited to get this one out to you because I think most of the picks, at least, are outside the box or they don't confide to the norm. So I'm super excited to get that out to you because it's nice to get different perspective for some of these picks. So I am excited to get this going. So we're going to jump right into it here. Before we start though, if you guys enjoy draft content, NFL mock drafts, player profiles, NFL content in general, please subscribe to the channel. Please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. Try to hit 11,000 subscribers before we reach the 2024 NFL draft. And I think that is certainly possible with your help. And we do content all year long over here too. So once the NFL draft is over and done with, I will probably be taking like a week or 10 days or whatever off. And then after that, we will be rolling right into 2025 content. It does not stop. The buck does not stop here at this channel, ladies and gentlemen. So without further delay, let's get into it. Number one overall, uh, you know, it's Caleb Williams. I think these first two picks are pretty straightforward that they're going to be quarterbacks. And number two overall here with Washington, I think it's a little bit different. I personally think that Drake May probably is the consensus number two overall quarterback in the class. Some might even argue number one. I just think that Jaden Daniels fits the offensive profile a little bit better for what the Washington Commanders with Cliff Kingsbury are going to try and accomplish. Also, Drake May has some pretty startling advanced stats. If you guys don't know about that, if you check out the video I dropped 2 days ago, my top 10 quarterback ranking for the 2024 NFL draft, I did link a I did link something in the pinned comment about Drake May and his advanced statistics. It really gives you an interesting perspective and it kind of opens your eyes to a few things. I still think Drake May is going to be great, but I think that if we know about it, these NFL teams have known about these stats for months and months. So I think Jaden Daniels is the pick for the Washington Commanders at number two overall. Now, there's a lot of talk that the Patriots are going to trade the number three overall pick. When I believe it was Robert Kraft came out and said it, I could be wrong, saying that the number three overall pick is going to cost way more than 3 first-round picks. Now, I think that's a shot at the Minnesota Vikings or the Denver Broncos, because really the two closest teams that I could see trading up to number three for a quarterback, I'd be pretty shocked if the Giants did, and I don't think it would take 3 first-round picks to move up 3 spots. That's just me, though. I think they're looking at the Minnesota Vikings and they're looking at the Denver Broncos. Now, the Minnesota Vikings just don't have the capital, and neither do the Denver Broncos for the most part, too. So I can't really see that happening. They'd have to dip into like 2026 draft capital, at least the Denver Broncos, not the Minnesota Vikings. But I think they stick and pick here, to be honest with you. I think they're just throwing up a bunch of smoke screens, seeing if they can get a team to send them an offer that they can't refuse. Send them an offer they can't refuse. I don't know. That was a terrible. Don't. Wow. That was terrible. Anyway, at number three, I'm not going to take Drake May. It's a pretty known fact at this point. I shouldn't say fact. Nothing around this time is fact. It's a pretty known rumor at this point that the New England Patriots brass isn't totally sold on Drake May, but they really like JJ McCarthy. So I'm going to dive straight into that rumor, and I'm going to say if they stick and pick here at number three, it's going to be JJ McCarthy for the New England Patriots. At number four, same deal kind of with the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots. I think the Arizona Cardinals are a little less inclined to trade out of the number four overall pick only because of the fact that they still own 2 first-round picks. 427, they have an enormous amount of draft capital in the top 100. They would love to get some more, but 6 picks in the top 100, 6 picks in the top 90 really is incredible draft capital to have. I think they stick and pick here, and they take quite possibly the best overall player in the entire draft class, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, these talks about Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Nabers maybe switching and Nabers being wide receiver one and and Marvin Harrison Jr. being wide receiver two. I think that's nonsense, to be quite honest with you. I do think it is closer than we imagine, that Malik Neighbors is a lot closer to Marvin Harrison Jr. than not. I will say that for sure. But I still think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the clear cut wide receiver one. And I don't think Arizona is going to pass up the opportunity to have a alpha wide receiver one like Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, I think for the most part, the draft starts at number 5 overall with the Los Angeles Chargers. I think the Chargers are fully about trading down. Well, not fully, but I think that they would prefer to trade down. With the holes that they have on their roster, they could really, really benefit from some draft capital. So we're going to propose a trade with the Minnesota Vikings here. I do think they move up. They were aggressive last year in their pursuit to try and trade up to get Anthony Richardson. Apparently, it was 4 to 5 first round picks being talked about being moved to move up. I don't think it's going to be that crazy to move up 6 spots, but we all know that Minnesota is going to be moving up for a quarterback. I think the price is justified at this point. I think 11 and 23, and they're probably going to have to throw in a third round pick. I don't know if it warrants another first round pick. It might, just because they don't have another second round pick. So let's see if this goes through. If not, we're going to have to include that. Oh, okay, it does. All right, so I guess they get they get the number 5 overall pick for a little bit less than I guess that they would think they'd have to give up. But I wouldn't be surprised in real life if the Minnesota Vikings have to give up 3 first round picks at the very least to move up to the top 5 to get a quarterback. And at number 5 here, we're going to take Drake May. I think Drake May would fit absolutely perfectly in Minnesota with the weapons that they have, with the offensive line that they possess. I think Kevin O'Connell and Drake May would make sweet, sweet love on a football field. No Diddy. Now we're going over to number 6 overall with the New York Giants. Pretty straightforward here for me. I'm taking best player available at a position of need. I know tackle is something that a lot of people are looking for. Joe Alt could be in play here, move over to right tackle. He didn't look all that comfortable at right tackle though, so I wouldn't waste a top 6 overall pick on a player that's an amazing left tackle and try him out at right tackle and he stinks. So I'm not going to do that there. I'm going to take Malik Neighbors. Pretty honestly straightforward at this point. Malik Neighbors, the best weapon left on the board, and the New York Giants desperately need a weapon here. They could be going quarterback round 2 maybe if someone's there, but right here, going to take Malik Neighbors. At number 7, Tennessee Titans. This might be closer on draft day than people think. I still think Joe Alt is the best overall tackle in the entire class. Olu Fashanu is someone who's seen his draft stock fall slightly a bit over the last month or so. Talisi Fuaga is someone that a lot of people think might project better as a guard. That might cause him to slip a little bit. Troy Fautanu is someone who's awesome. Amarius Mims is someone who has appeal for both left and right tackle. And JC Latham, right tackle road grader. I think we're still going to go with Joe Alt here at number 7 overall. I don't think it should be too much of a conversation at this point. You take the best offensive lineman available. Now at number 8, I'm going to go defense. And I think most people think this pick is going to be Dallas Turner. I don't think Dallas Turner is the highest edge on Atlanta's board. Not only that, I think Terrion Arnold is also in play here at number 8 overall. I wouldn't rule out another corner opposite AJ Terrell, especially after who left? Was it Jeff Okuda? I think Jeff Okuda. Yeah, Jeff Okuda left in free agency, so I don't think that I would rule out corner so badly. I think that it's definitely a need at this point, but I'm going to go with Jared Verse. I think Verse is fully the edge one on Atlanta's board. Unless they're throwing smoke screens, you can't believe everything you're hearing. But Jared Verse, a little bit more of a mature pass rusher, someone that I think that's going to get to the quarterback early on in his career a little bit better than Dallas Turner. Turner reminds me a lot of Will Anderson Jr., where Will Anderson Jr. can get to the quarterback, but he's a great all-around defender and someone that is a great defender against the run, where Verse, I feel like, is good against the run, but he's more pass rush oriented. He comes with a lot more power in those legs as well. And I think that's something that the Atlanta Falcons desperately need. 28th and 27th over the last couple of years in sacks. They need to do something about that. And Jared Verse, to me, is a completely solid option. Where is he? There he is. Jared Verse at number 8. At number 9 overall, this is where I think one of the big trades happens. It's two-folded for me. The Buffalo Bills traded Stephon Diggs. They must have really wanted him out of town if they were going to eat their $31 million dead cap hit. Not only that, they didn't really get too much back in return, to be quite honest with you. I know Stephon Diggs is aging and he isn't the receiver that he once was, but still, he's still a top receiver to me in the game of football. At number 9, the Chicago Bears are a really interesting case because if you look, they have 3 top 75 picks, 2 top 10 picks, and then 122, and that's it for their draft class. They have 4 picks. I've never seen a team that has so much and so little draft capital at the same time because they have 2 top 10 picks, including the number 1 overall pick, and then number 75, but nothing else after that really. Beside 122. I don't think that that's going to sit well with Ryan Poles. He's going to want to build this roster as much as he can around Caleb Williams and build up that potential top 10 defense as well. So I'm going to trade down with the Buffalo Bills. Reason being, the Buffalo Bills have a ton of mid-round picks as well. I think that's really, really good for the Chicago Bears. They get some value all the way up and down the board. They get some draft capital for next year. And not only that, the Buffalo Bills take a weapon away from the New York Jets at number 2. Oh, so sweet it must be for the Buffalo Bills, except for giving up all that draft capital. So let's see here. It's going to be a lot, don't get me wrong. And a lot of Bills fans aren't going to be fine with mortgaging the future. But listen, you could stick and pick at 28 and get someone like Xavier Worthy, maybe even Brian Thomas falling that way. But Rome Odunze is an alpha receiver in this class. He is, to me, he's the second or third best wide receiver in the entire draft class. Why wouldn't you want to pair your franchise quarterback with someone as amazing as him? Now, it's going to take a lot. I'm going to assume they're going to want mid-round picks. I think this is pretty good. And then we're going to have to throw in, I'd rather throw in the first round pick than both second rounders. So let's see if this goes through. This might not. Let's see. We might have to throw in, like, this trade engine is super weird. Let's just throw in 248 just to make sure the trade goes through. So it does. That's a massive move up for the Buffalo Bills. From 28 to 19 is one of the bigger trade ups that we've seen on draft day. And we're going to take Rome Odunze here at number 9. Now, the New York Jets at number 10. Really interesting spot. I am a New York Jet fan, if you guys weren't aware. I'm not going to lie. I love the premise of taking Brock Bowers here at number 10. Logistically, it doesn't make too much sense. I think Joe Douglas would love to trade down here, but with the players that are on the board and the teams that are behind the Jets, I don't really see a lot of these teams moving up for players, to be quite honest with you, at least at the price range that it's probably going to take to get the number 10 overall pick from the New York Jets. So I think in a similar situation to last year where the Jets wanted to trade down after Broderick Jones got taken 1 pick before them, I think they are going to want to kind of just stick and pick with the best player on their board. And we know how the Jets draft. They like high RAS scores. They like athletic, versatile playmakers. Brock Bowers is on the board. That's who we're going to go with. It might not make total sense from a depth chart standpoint. And also, you're going to need an insurance policy for Tyron Smith or Morgan Moses and a long-term solution at the tackle position. I think the only tackle I'd consider taking here, maybe Troy Fautanu, but I think Fuaga would be the guy that I would take here at 10. But I don't know, man. The Jets are in a win now mode. They look super pumped to get as many weapons for Aaron Rodgers as possible. We're going to have to take Brock Bowers here at number 10. And then at number 11, you have the Los Angeles Chargers fresh off of a trade down here. And I'm going to take J.C. Latham with this pick. A lot of people might think Fuaga is the right pick, myself included, to be honest with you. Olu Fashanu is someone that intrigues me a lot here as well. But the Los Angeles Chargers have done extensive work on J.C. Latham. Their coaching staff also spent a lot of time working with him during, I believe it was either the Alabama Pro Day or the Combine itself. But the coaching staff made themselves very familiar around J.C. Latham. They need a right tackle. And Rashawn Slater and J.C. Latham as your bookend tackles is awesome. He's a mountain of a man, great run blocker. And this is a team under Jim Harbaugh that's going to run the football, in my opinion. So you're going to want a road grader of a right tackle. So we are going to get J.C. Latham here at number 11. Might be a little bit of a surprise, but I think it's justified. At number 12, with this is a disaster of a board here for the Denver Broncos. Love Olu Fashanu. Dallas Turner's in play, so is Terrion Arnold. There's a lot of good players here, but I just don't think this moves the needle for Sean Payton. I think there's a team that's going to look to trade up for Dallas Turner. And for me, that's going to be the LA Rams. I think the Rams are a team that thrive with less picks. So now they have their first round pick in God knows how long. They have a couple third round picks as well. And I think the Denver Broncos are going to want to look to trade back, acquire some assets here. And I think the LA Rams are more than okay operating with less picks. And this is going, it's probably going to cost a bit, I'd say. Let's see if this goes through. I think this is pretty solid for the most part, and it does. So at the cost of a second round pick, the LA Rams move up and they take Dallas Turner to pair with Byron Young and Kobe Turner. Now that Aaron Donald, I was going to say Aaron Rodgers. Now that Aaron Donald is retired, they're going to want to build that pass rush again. They might look for an interior guy later on in the draft, but right now we're going to bookend those outside linebackers with Dallas Turner. At number 13, you have the Las Vegas Raiders, another team that I considered moving up for a quarterback. I think they're pretty content right now. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell doesn't seem too bad. They could add a quarterback in round 2 or 3, maybe someone that's falling, maybe a Spencer Rattler, maybe a Bo Nix, someone like that. I think that the Raiders are in a better spot now that they have been in quite some time. So we're going to build that offensive line. They have a massive hole at right tackle. I love Amarius Mims here, but I think Talisi Fuaga is going to give them that instant impact that they need. Amarius Mims seems like someone that's going to struggle early on just based off of his inexperience, but he'll be great. I think he has the highest ceiling out of any tackle in the class, to be honest with you, just because of that 6'8", 340-pound untapped potential after, 8 career starts at Georgia. But Talisi Fuaga is someone to me that is one of the can't-miss offensive line prospects in this draft class. He's just so technically gifted, so strong, so athletic. Could even kick inside to play guard if necessary. Some argue he might be better at guard at the next level, but I think that the Raiders are looking for their right tackle of the future, and I think that's Fuaga. At number 14, this is pretty straightforward. Olu Fashanu is still on the board here. I don't think Trevor Penning is working out at left tackle. Ryan Ramczyk is someone whose health is a massive concern. We're going to need the best offensive tackle prospect around, and Olu Fashanu is still on the board, and that's who we're going to take at 14. That's pretty straightforward, in my opinion. At number 15, you have the Indianapolis Colts here. This is a tough one. Both corners that I think are the 2 top corners in the class are still on the board. I just think Quinyon Mitchell gives the Indianapolis Colts a little bit more juice than Terrion Arnold. For me, it's 1A, 1B. It could be either way. Arnold is so good, and his agility statistics stand out a little bit more to me than his overall speed. And that's really something I look for in a corner a little bit more than straight line speed, because you could be as fast as you want going up the field. But cutting, moving in and out, swiveling your hips, how fast are you with your agility? And, Arnold has some insane agility, but so does Quinyon Mitchell. Mitchell is someone that just is the complete package. Every time that we asked him to do something, how is he in press coverage? At the Senior Bowl, he dominated press coverage. Well, how fast he is. He ran, a 4.33, 40-yard dash. He's an insane athlete. He's an insane player. You can't teach his ball skills. I think this is exactly what the Indianapolis Colts need in their secondary. So I'm taking Quinyon Mitchell here. Number 16, you have the Seattle Seahawks here, looking to upgrade the interior of their offensive line. No better player, in my opinion, on this board for that offensive line upgrade as of right now than Graham Barton here, if I can find him. Is he listed as a center here? He is. Okay. Could play center, could play guard, could play tackle at his size, honestly. His agility is unbelievable. A 9.99 RAS score. Unbelievable. He's an explosive player. Like I said, comes with a lot of experience from a lot of different alignments as well. He could win on the inside. He could win on the outside. This is a player that I think would be a perfect fit for Seattle. I love Jackson Powers Johnson. Love Zach Frazier. Maybe even Bo Limmer or Hunter Norzad down the board. But Graham Barton is someone that I'm just so in love with his versatility. And for a team that needs an upgrade at both guard positions and a center, you're going to want someone that has experience everywhere on the offensive line. So Graham Barton is the pick for me at 16. At number 17, would love to go receiver here, but Terrion Arnold is still on the board for the Jacksonville Jaguars here. I cannot justify passing up a cornerback one potential from Terrion Arnold for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tyson Campbell on one side, Terrion Arnold on the other side. That just sounds so awesome. So we're going to take Arnold here at number 17. At number 18, we have the Cincinnati Bengals here. And going to have to go with the offensive line. I know it sounds like a broken record, but I really think protecting Joe Burrow has to be key. We had two early season ending injuries so far in his career. Doesn't jive with me, to be honest with you. I think the line is almost near completion at this point. I love Amarius Mims here to be just that future left or right tackle that they need, probably right tackle of the future for them after they signed Trent Brown to a 1-year deal. He's got versatility everywhere. But I love what Fautanu can bring to the Cincinnati Bengals because he has experience on the inside as well. And don't forget, this is a Bengals team that next year, Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, these guys are free agents. Don't know if these guys are going to be coming back as well. Don't know if they're willing to spend the money with the free agent contracts that they're going to have to give out, the extension that they're going to have to give out to T. Higgins if they want to keep him around, to Jamar Chase if they want to extend him early. So I think they're going to try and cut corners where they can. Fautanu is someone who just, again, similar to Graham Barton, has just versatility all over the offensive line. And I think to me, he's a little bit more technically gifted than Amarius Mims. Mims just comes with that raw, natural athleticism and power that you're going to have to mold into something more. Fautanu kind of comes with that polished game already. So to me, he's more of an instant impact starter for the Bengals than Amarius Mims would be. So we're going to take him here at 18. Now, the Denver Broncos at 19. Kind of a win-win situation for a franchise that hasn't had win-win situations quite often recently. We're looking at, that's not what I wanted to do. All right, so now we're cooking with gas here. Now we have 3 picks inside the top 100. We have a first, a second, and a third round pick now, which is really nice. I think Michael Penix Jr. comes off the board here. If the Denver Broncos trade back and he's still here, I know that they like Bo Nix, but I just think that personally for me, I think Michael Penix Jr. makes a little bit more sense. He's someone that could just do so much more with his arm as well. And the athletic testing proved that he's more of an athlete than we think that we give him credit for. So he could roll out. He's going to need some time to develop that side of his game. But I think Penix Jr. brings a little bit more juice to the table than Bo Nix does. I mean, Nix, I think, is going to be a fine NFL player. I just think Michael Penix Jr., if he hits, he's going to be a superstar. And I think at this point with Sean Payton, I don't think you could kind of hope for Bo Nix to turn into something great, where Michael Penix Jr., if he gets it, he's going to be great right away. So Penix Jr. is going to be the pick here for me at 19. First round consideration again for Michael Penix Jr. Gotta love that. We know that the Pittsburgh Steelers love their Georgia offensive linemen. And Amarius Mims is still on the board here. They need an upgrade on the offensive line here. What I love about this is Broderick Jones is going to go back, presumably, to play left tackle. Amarius Mims is someone that has left tackle and right tackle appeal. And like we talked about before, he has inexperience in his game and he's got a rawness to it. So if you could put him at right tackle, mold him to play that position, I think he's going to work out really, really well. And he's an athletic freak. He's humongous. This is a Pittsburgh Steeler if I've ever seen one. So Amarius Mims is going to be the pick at number 20 here. Now, this is another trade down situation for me. Let's take a look. So we can't look at the full slate, but 21 and 55 are the only premium picks that the Miami Dolphins have. And then I don't think they have a pick until like 160. It's something unreal. So we're going to need to recoup some value here for the Miami Dolphins. And with the way that the board is falling, there's a lot of great players on the board. Don't get me wrong here. Guard, we got some great players here. Center, there's some great players here. Tackle, all these positions need upgrades. Let's look, defensive line. It's hard to pass up on Byron Murphy here and Johnny Newton, T'Vondre Sweat, these guys, Laiatu Latu, Chop Robinson, to name a few. But I think Greer is going to look to move down to acquire some of these picks. There's a team that's going to be aggressive, in my opinion, to move up into the first round that doesn't have a first round pick, and that's going to be the Carolina Panthers for me. After trading Brian Burns, they have a little bit more draft capital to work with here, and I think that they're going to make the Miami Dolphins an offer they cannot refuse. So I'm thinking 33 65, and maybe 101 gets us the number 21 overall pick. So right away, the Miami Dolphins have much more draft capital to work with, and the Carolina Panthers are aggressive in getting Bryce Young, a bona fide stud at the wide receiver position. Let's see if that goes through. It does. So we're going to get Brian Thomas Jr. here at number 21. Just an alpha X type of wide receiver that could win down the field, has great speed. He, to me, automatically becomes the best wide receiver in the Panthers organization. That doesn't really say much, but he is a beast, and I think he would be Bryce Young's best friend. So if we're going to invest, if we're going to give up all that draft capital to get Bryce Young, I'd say that we give up draft capital to get Bryce Young an ultra weapon, and that's what Brian Thomas Jr. is here. At number 22 overall, the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the secondary just needs a massive upgrade here. I know Philadelphia Eagles fans are going to get really upset. Jackson Powers Johnson's on the board here. Tyler Guyton, these guys, this could be a long-term Lane Johnson replacement. This could be the instant replacement for Jason Kelsey. Jesus Christ, my mind's going so fast, it's tough to keep up sometimes. Jackson Powers Johnson at number 27. Here's the thing. I think the online NFL draft community is a little higher on Jackson Powers Johnson than NFL execs are. Apparently, Jackson Powers Johnson's medicals had some alarming numbers in them. I don't know what it is. To be honest with you, that's what I heard, that his medicals kind of cooled off his draft stock a little bit. Philadelphia Eagles need a secondary upgrade, 100%. Love what Cooper DeJean can bring. They've met with him before, I believe, at the Combine, and he had a top 30 visit for the Philadelphia Eagles, I want to say. So Cooper DeJean is someone that I think is an instant impact upgrade. Maybe he isn't going to play your boundary corner, what you think right away. I know that they just signed Avonte Maddox to be their nickel corner again, but he does have the chops to play on the boundary. I also think he's just a tremendous Swiss Army knife that you could put anywhere. I like to call Cooper DeJean the white Chuck Clark, someone that could line up all over the defensive scheme and just be an impact player anywhere. So I think that DeJean is a player that Vic Fangio would really like in his defensive scheme. So we're going to go Cooper DeJean here at 22. So the Los Angeles Chargers, fresh off of taking J.C. Latham, now with their second first-round pick. It's tough to see Brian Thomas Jr. go right before the Chargers. I get that. I really want to upgrade the defensive line. I really do. It is garbage, to be honest with you. I know they need a wide receiver. I get that. I know they need a corner. I get that as well. But look at the picks that we have in this mock draft here. We're going to be able to make something happen with these picks. 69, beautiful. My favorite number. 23 overall, I'm going to take Byron Murphy here. I just think Byron Murphy is exactly what the LA Chargers need on the defensive line. This is a team that's completely changing their identity. They are going to need to beef up those lines. Those trenches are going to need to be beefed up. Offensive line, we took care of that. We got a right tackle of the future. We just got a pocket collapsing nightmare in the middle in Byron Murphy Jr., a tremendous pass rusher, great athlete. I think he'd fit in quite nicely for the Chargers here at number 23. At number 24, you have the Dallas Cowboys here. And everything that I just talked about with Jackson Powers Johnson, I think kind of goes out the window when we're talking about Jerry Jones. I think Jerry Jones is a guy that drafts more off of the players that he just loves and more off of impulse. But Jackson Powers Johnson is insane. He is awesome. He's an incredible player. For medicals aside, pure footballing ability, I think Jackson Powers Johnson could be an all-pro from day one. I know that's really high praise, but I think he can be. And he just seems like a Dallas Cowboy. I don't know why. That nasty mentality, that I'm going to physically dominate you mentality, just seems like either a Ravens mentality or a Cowboys mentality. And, well, the Ravens don't need a center. So Jackson Powers Johnson, center is a huge need for the Dallas Cowboys. So is tackle, but I think with the talent that's available on the board, Powers Johnson just makes too much sense here at 24. So we're going to take him. At 25, the Green Bay Packers. I think we're going to upgrade the secondary. Defense, I know it's tough. Like, Johnny Newton sitting right there, I get it, but I really think the secondary needs an upgrade. I love what Nate Wiggins can bring to this secondary. Now, not only that, I mocked Nate Wiggins to the Green Bay Packers quite a few times way early on in the season. I think that he fits exactly what the Green Bay Packers are looking for on the defensive side of the ball. Now, I know he's a little light in his bridges. What is he? 173? 173. Incredibly fast, incredible player. I think he can play on the boundary. He could play in the slot too, but I think he's going to make his money on the boundary on those really speedy receivers on the outside. And Nate Wiggins, man, I I wasn't a fan of the weigh-in at the combine, but the speed and the overall agility and his just athleticism score make me think that he's going to be a much better player and he's going to play a lot heavier than his weight indicates. So I'm going to take Nate Wiggins here at 25. Might be an unpopular pick, but I just love what he could bring to the defense for the Green Bay Packers here. At number 26, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we are going to upgrade the pass rush here. And it's tough because there's some great players left on the board. Laiatu Latu, Chop Robinson. A tough decision. I think I'm going to go with the more polished prospect that has more collegiate success. I'm going to take Laiatu Latu here. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player at the next level. Don't get the slide, to be honest with you. I just think that there are more pressing needs at other positions for teams in front of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Chop Robinson could have one of the highest ceilings of any edge rusher in this class. I just think Latu will be better right away. Kind of a similar situation with Verse and Dallas Turner. I think Latu is going to be someone that makes an impact right away, and his impact's going to be felt. Now, look at this. You got Laiatu Latu on one side, Yaya Diaby. You have Kalijah Kancey. You're building a great pass rush with young players. So Diaby had a fantastic rookie season. Kalijah Kancey was good as well. We're really building something for Todd Bowles here in Tampa Bay. And then on the flip side, I just talked about him. We're going to take Chop Robinson here at 27. I love the upside. I do, especially for this young Arizona team as well. He could really grow into this team and just be a force off the edge for Jonathan Gannon and co. Yeah, we're going to take Chop Robinson here. I'm not totally in love. I like McKinstry here, to be honest with you, but I think edge or just overall pass rusher is more of a pressing need. We got our wide receiver one of the future. Why not add another freak of nature in Chop Robinson on the other side? So we're going to take him here at 27. At number 28 for the Chicago Bears, tough to see those two edge rushers go right off right before the Chicago Bears pick because I'd love to pair one of these guys with Montez Sweat. But we're still going to stay on the defensive line here. Don't get me wrong. I think the rotation of Andrew Billings, Gervon Dexter, Zach Pickens, I think Justin Jones, I want to say as well. I could be blanking on that. I think is good. I think Johnny Walker shows you where my head is. That's pretty funny. I think Johnny Newton. I was thinking of the edge rusher on the Chicago Bears. His last name is Walker. I'm pretty sure that's why I said Johnny Walker. Johnny Newton, I think, is going to be a fantastic player. Some people think he's a fourth round talent. I don't see that. I think Johnny Newton could be the best defensive player in the entire draft class. So I'm going to take him here. I'm going to bolster the interior of the defensive line. Some people might not like that, but I think that he brings a pass rushing presence to the defensive line that those four guys in that rotation just don't have at this point, to be honest with you. So I love just beefing up that pass rush a little bit more. So we're going to take Johnny Newton here at 28. At 29, you have the Detroit Lions here. I think I'm going to take Kool-Aid McKinstry. They need an upgrade in the secondary. They met with him with a top 30 visit. They haven't met with many players for a top 30 visit. And a lot of the guys that they did meet with seem like mid to late round picks. So really the only guy that could be picked in the first round that they met with so far is Kool-Aid McKinstry. And I think he fits exactly what the Detroit Lions defense is looking for. You're looking for a physical corner that can tackle, that is super smart. Probably, besides for Terrion Arnold, because they played in the same defense, I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is easily the smartest defensive back, or at least the smartest corner in this entire draft class. He's a leader on that defense. He's constantly moving teammates around. He's constantly adjusting the coverages. That's for a team that gave up as many passing yards as they did. That's the type of leader I want on my defense. So I'm going to take Kool-Aid McKinstry at number 29 here. At number 30, I kind of swayed back and forth, to be honest with you. I didn't know exactly who I wanted here, but just purely for what the Baltimore Ravens have going on with their offensive line, I think we have to take Tyler Guyton here. Ronnie Stanley on the left side, Tyler Guyton could start right away on the on the right side. He's going to be a little green. He's going to need a little molding, but I mean, the toughest transition for me in football is the offensive line from college to the NFL. So there's going to be an adjustment period at some point anyway. Only the best of the best, only the all pros and the elites and the pro bowlers are guys that, seamlessly transition from college to the NFL. That really goes for any position, to be honest with you. But Guyton is someone, incredible statistics, great score, 6'7, 322, huge arms, great power center. He's a beast. I think this is a nasty player that kind of fits what Ravens football is looking for here. At number 31, a player that I've picked a couple times before. I'm going to have to go back to it just because the Pickens are getting slim on the offensive line, at least first round or second round talent. Love some of these guys later on. Don't know so much about Patrick Paul. Love Kieran Amagaji. Love Delmar Glaze, to be honest with you. But I'm going to take Jordan Morgan here. I think Jordan Morgan could be a great tackle at the next level. I think he could be a Pro Bowl guard at the next level. I know that's not something that the San Francisco 49ers necessarily need right now, but they're going to need it soon. With the cap situation that they have coming up and the free agents they have coming up, they're going to have a ton of holes on the offensive line. And I think getting someone with the versatility that Jordan Morgan has, I think is key. So we're going to take Jordan Morgan here at 31. And at 32 here, I know they might not take a wide receiver, but with the guys that are on the board and Adonai Mitchell on the board, just what he would bring to the table for the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes is just so unequivocally awesome that I don't think I could pass it up. Maybe it's a fever dream. Maybe they're looking at corner. Maybe they're looking at defensive line. Maybe they're looking at tackle. I can't pass up giving Patrick Mahomes a weapon like Adonai Mitchell. Some people might think it's Xavier Worthy here or Ladd McConkey. I think Adonai is the boundary receiver that the Kansas City Chiefs are desperately looking for. Imagine, if Rashee Rice plays, you have Marquise Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and Adonai Mitchell is an unbelievable trio of just twitched up speed. So we're going to take him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we go over to round 2, where with the Miami Dolphins, with their new pick here, they take Christian Haynes. Keon Coleman goes to the Patriots. Max Melton to the Atlanta Falcons, to the Arizona Cardinals. Kingsley Suamataia goes to the Washington Commanders. Xavier Worthy goes to the LA Chargers. Pair up really nicely with Quentin Johnston. That's a super speedy receiver for Justin Herbert to throw to. Kamari Lassiter at number 38 to the Tennessee Titans. Zach Frazier, number 39 overall to the Carolina Panthers. Washington again, take Darius Robinson. Green Bay at number 41, take Edgerrin Cooper. At number 42, you get T'Vondre Sweat to the Houston Texans, building something special down there in Houston. At number 43, the Atlanta Falcons get Ennis Rakestraw Jr. At number 44 overall, Bo Nix goes off the board here to the Las Vegas Raiders. At number 45, Xavier Legette goes off the board to the New Orleans Saints. Ben Sinnott goes off the board at number 46 to the Indianapolis Colts. I really like that pairing a lot, actually. I know they have a ton of tight ends over there in Indianapolis, but Sinnott could be the best one out of all of them right away. At 47, maybe a surprise, Roger Rosengarten comes off the board to be the new right tackle of the New York Giants. At number 48, Chris Jenkins at number 48 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trey Benson may be a surprise here, but I really do think they need a long-term running back solution in Cincinnati. Comes off the board at 49. At number 50, Christian Mahogany to the Philadelphia Eagles. At 51, you have the Steelers taking TJ Tampa. Ruka Horhoro comes off the board at number 52 to the Denver Broncos. 53, Junior Colson. 54, Peyton Wilson. A little run on linebackers there. At 55, you have Braden Fisk. 56, Jonathan Brooks. 57, Bernardo Green. 58, Patrick Paul. 59, Trevin Wallace. 60, Cedric Van Pran. 61, Marshawn Nealon. 62, you have Jalen Polk, a really nice boundary receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. Lad McConkey, out of just purely he was there, and I thought he'd be an awesome fit in San Francisco at number 63. Number 64 to end the second round, we have Kieran Amagaji coming off the board. Moving on to the third round here, we have Adisa Isaac coming off the board to the Miami Dolphins at 65. At 66, Mason McCormick. 67, Cooper Beebe. 68, I had the Atlanta Falcons trade up from 74 to 68 to take Troy Franklin. At 69, nice. Tyler Nubin comes off the board. 70, Braylon Allen to the New York Giants, long-term running back solution for them there. At 71, Blake Corum comes off the board. 72, Blake Fisher, I think, is a really nice developmental tackle for the New York Jets. Right away, swing tackle vibe, and then full ability to take over as the starter once Tyron Smith retires or Morgan Moses walks. Dominic Pooney comes off the board at 73. Kyrie Jackson at 74 to the New England Patriots. Malachi Corley at 75. Ricky Pearsall at 76. DJ James, if you could see that there, at 77. 78, Roman Wilson. 79, Cole Bishop. Number 80, got Leonard Taylor to try and fill the void that DJ Reader left. At 81, Michael Hall Jr. Really love that for the Seattle Seahawks there. At 82, we get Chris Braswell. 83, you get a slot corner in Andrew Phillips to the LA Rams. At 84, you get Jalen McMillan to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Love that fit there. 85, Mason Smith comes off the board. Cam Hart at 86 to the Houston Texans. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. at 87 to the Dallas Cowboys. Dwayne Carter at 88. Tanner Bortolini at 89. Makai Wingo, who is an explosive defensive tackle, comes off the board at 90. 91, you have Brandon Coleman. 92, Jermaine Burton. 93, Braylon Trice finally comes off the board. 94, Mike Sanderstel comes off the board to the San Francisco 49ers. Jarrian Jones at 95 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Javon Baker at 96, I think, is a great fit as an X receiver. Jatavion Sanders, long-term solution at tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals at 97. 98, Cameron Kinchens finally comes off the board, one of my favorite players in the entire class. Javon Foster at number 99. And then Dadrion Taylor Demerson comes off the board to round out our 3-round mock draft to the Washington Commanders. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I'm going to be doing a 7-rounder later on this week with a good buddy of mine, so stay tuned for that. That should be fun and exhausting at the same time. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.